The old Jarl is dead. Monsters are attacking our town. We must become the Champions of Midgard. Welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
And if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, click the button, subscribe, and every single Thursday we'll give you a brand new video as we talk about great board games.
That's right.
And today we're talking about the Champions of Midgard.
An awesome game. Oh, did I just give away something?
So at the beginning of every one of our reviews, we're going to give you a simple one-die rating that tells you if you should buy it, play it, or hate it. And then we'll spend the rest of the review telling you why we gave it that rating. So green means go buy this game and add it to your collection. White means maybe you wouldn't buy it, but you definitely play it. And then red means you wouldn't buy it and you wouldn't play it because you hate it. So here's our review of the Champions of Midgard.
Greens!
Green. Okay, so in Champions of Midgard, this is a worker placement game. Now, if you're not familiar with worker placement, it simply means that I have a dude and I can place the dude somewhere on the board, worker placement, and then I get the ability of that location. And so now I've taken that place, you can't go there. Too bad, so sad. And then Rod would pick another place, and then he would get the ability of that. Oh, I wanted that, it's too bad, so now I'm gonna have to go somewhere else instead. And so we're gonna go back and forth placing all of our dudes out on a turn, and then at the end, we're gonna resolve some combat and do that over and over again for 8 rounds.
Right.
So at the core of this game, that's what you're going to be doing. So I would like to talk about all of these locations that you could go, but it might take us too long. So I'm going to basically go over. There are some places in the middle where you're going to get warrior dice, and these range from, sword dudes all the way up to these axes that are really, really strong. You can get some food here. You can come over here and hunt for things. You can go to these military or economic places where you basically trade something. So this is trade 1 food for 2 white dice. And so I take a food, I trade it. This is pay 1 money to get a white dice and a red dice. Okay, over here is a market card, a merchant ship that shows up every single round, and it changes out what you can do at that location. You can come over here and you can go to the sage's house, and this is something that you get to do at the end of the game. This is victory conditions at the end of the game, that if I have the most destiny or favor tokens, whatever these are called, then I get 4 extra victory points. And then I could go to the runesmith, where the runesmith gives me a special ability, and it gives me victory points at the end. And then this game introduces fighting. So there are 2 places to fight. You can fight at the top of this game, where you're going to be fighting a troll that comes and attacks us every single round.
Right.
And if nobody attacks the troll, then everybody gets one of these blame tokens.
Which you don't want.
And these aren't that bad at first. If you only get 1, it's worth a certain amount. But the more of these that you could get, you could be losing like 10, 15, 20 points if you get a whole lot of these. And then you have these draugrs that come up that you can fight. And then, so that's at the top of the board. And then at the bottom of the board, you can go to fight, but it's a little bit harder because you have to go across the ocean to fight these monsters that are down on the bottom. And they introduce these danger cards, these ocean cards, and it kind of gives this idea of you don't know what you're going to encounter when you go across the ocean. And so on a turn, you would load up a boat, which there's these boats that you can take on a turn, or you could have a private ship that you could get. And so during the turn, you're going to be placing dudes out and then collecting these workers, these warrior dice, and you have to feed them. So you have to max out the capacity of this boat, and then you'll send this boat to fight one of these locations. And so you flip this over, and look at this, I have to fight the Kraken. Oh, that's terrible.
That's before you even get to the monster.
Yeah, and if I defeat the Kraken, then I will go on to the monster at the bottom of the board. Now, combat in this game is crazy simple. It might even be a little too simple, which might be a knock against the game, but it's all right with me. Basically, the draugr here has a hit point value of 2 or 3. You have to hit him 3 times, but every single time he's going to kill 2 of your dice. So let's say that I took these 4 dice and I fought him. Okay, I hit him twice, and I have to lose 2 of my dice. Oh, no. So then I have to, I'm going to get rid of those 2, and then I'm going to re-roll with these. Okay, I got the 3rd hit that I needed, but both of these dudes are dead. and that's combat, right? It's that simple. And then I would get 4 money and 6 victory or glory or whatever they call it in this game. And then I collect this guy. At the end of the game, for every set of monsters that you have, yellow, green, or yellow, blue, and red, you get some victory points for that. And then there's a bunch of other ways that you get victory points in the game. But really, that's a quick 2-minute overview of how you play the game. So let's talk about this goodness.
So let me just say right off the bat, this game is what Waterdeep should have been.
Lords of Waterdeep.
So this game is outstanding. This game right here is... So whenever you think of this, like for instance, we're talking about Vikings, right?
Yeah.
So Vikings don't just go around and build stuff. They actually fight. So a fight isn't just them always winning because they had enough yellow, enough blue. There's some chance they're going to lose. So that's what I like about it. Even though you said it's simple with the fighting, but it makes it just enough, because if it was too difficult, it would drag the game out.
Right, yeah.
But it makes it so it's difficult enough that you have to plan enough, give a little bit of strategy to it, that it changed the aspects of the game. So I think I really enjoyed this, and then with, of course, the artwork. Vikings... I am not a big, what do we call these
Worker
games?
placement.
Worker placement game. I'm not a big worker placement game. But, quite honestly, this may be one of my favorite games right now.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, because it just really does so much. I can't find a negative on it, honestly.
Yeah, for me, I'm total worker placement guy. Like that, like you say, worker placement, I'll play that. And so for me, then to know that I get to fight, there's dice,
right?
But the dice aren't too terrible, because I hate when dice ruin a game, make it too luck based.
Right.
But for me, this is just enough luck in that. Like you said, the artwork. I mean, the artwork is phenomenal on this game. This board, you almost can't tell in the video, but this board is huge.
Yeah.
It's massive. And I just love that. I love that you can't ever do everything that you want to do.
Right.
So you only have 3 workers. You can come to this other place, the workers' hut, and get a new one, but it'll cost you 5 money if you're the first person to go there. But then the price goes down. I kind of like that.
Sure.
And so I always feel this tension of, man, I want to do that, but I don't have enough food yet. Or, oh, I want to buy a boat, but I don't have wood yet. So that means I'm going to have to go to the market and do this trade thing.
What the game does, it gives you just so many options on how to win it. And that's what I like about it a lot. I mean, you can pretty much, if you wanted to, avoid the fighting more or less, but you do have to get involved some. But there's just so many options on how you can win this game, how you can score points, everything on it. I just loved it. Even the hunting part of it and stuff was really neat.
Yeah, when you have to sail down here to these monsters, if they don't get beaten, then whichever monster is left out there, then the end of the round you're going to add money to them.
Right.
So after a few rounds, some dude is over here like this. And even though it's harder to go fight that guy because it requires more food on that end of the board, you want to go there because you can get all this money. And so I really like that aspect to it. That was pretty neat.
And then the other thing that it gives you is, obviously there's some cards up here, like with the seer, that allow you maybe to look into these cards to see what's ahead of you.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So you can do that type of thing. I mean, it's just a bunch of different things you can do with it.
Like what he was saying about fighting monsters, maybe you don't have to do that, but it really is enticing to want to do that.
Especially because of that right there.
Because they give you a lot of victory points. You have these, I think they're called favor tokens, favor of the gods, I think. And these let you re-roll on a turn. So you could say, okay, I'm going to toss that in and we're doing this again. But then at the end of the game, these are worth victory points for you. We didn't mention that each Viking has a power that's special just to them. So like for me, I get hit results on swords. They do 1 additional damage in hunting or combat.
Right, so I gain 2
victory
when you spend at least
when you spend one of these. Okay. So every time you spend the favor of the gods, like I said, these give you 2 victory points at the end of the game, and so you're having to make this decision. He gets it anyways. Right. So every time you re-roll, you get that back.
So that's pretty neat because it gives you a feel for a little bit of the individuality. Also, that there's extra ones of these, so it changes up every game.
Yeah, that's true. Every round, depending on the number of players, you're going to have at least 1 or 2 of either military or economic.
Right.
And that's cool. There's another dude that's got an ability that he gets whatever the merchant ship is for free.
Right.
So that forces you to want to change up turn order because if he goes first every time, where's he going to go?
Right. I'm
going to go down here and get 2 food and a wood free.
Exactly.
Well, you don't want him to do that. So you're going to come over here and get the first player token and a white die. you know, and so
this game has, I mean, it has, I guess, definitely a worker placement, everything you want, plus some. And the fighting aspect of it's pretty neat. I enjoyed that. And it really fits, of course, with it being Vikings and all. It's awesome.
Right. I mean, for me being a worker placement guy, my only complaint about this is it does feel light. It's on the lighter end of that. So you're not looking for anything super complex. But for what it is, the theme of what it is, I just really enjoy that. I don't mind that it's lighter. I don't mind that the combat isn't that difficult. I just enjoy that a lot. And
one of the things, I mean, even when it comes to the combat, I mean, it can become a little bit like, for instance, you could be sitting there with a lot of black dice because, you know, they're the most powerful. But the thing is, some of the monsters, you can't even touch them with the black dice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You have to use the spear or so on. So there's different options on what's happening. You have to attack the right way, which ones to attack, that type of thing.
It's just fun. It's just it plays quick. I mean, you're going to play this game and you're going to blink and you'll be like, oh, wow, we're already halfway through. Oh, wow, it's over.
Yep. It is fun. And it, I mean, it just... I think with this type of game, you always feel like you're in the game, no matter what, no matter how far back you are, because you've got these plans that you're going to pick up this one, even though they don't always come true.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe not. So components, green die. Gameplay, green die.
Definitely.
You know, replayability, green die.
Yeah.
It's all there.
So, and then there's rumors of expansions too. So, so that's always a green die.
I went all in on the Kickstarter. So I went all in. I've got both expansions that are coming out. I got the rollout playmat. I even told myself I wasn't going to do it. I was like, I don't need the playmat. And then they teased me. They said, check out this great artwork. And I said, I'm buying that too.
So truthfully, right now, with all the games that are out, and that, you know, this is what, how down?
18 years, yeah.
It's about 2 years. This is a great game. I mean, I just have a hard time playing anything else. Like I said, that, you know, the only reason I guess, of course, we want to review more games, but this would be one of my first choices.
Yeah, so won't turn this one down.
No,
is what you're saying.
Yeah,
never.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, so that's our review of Champions of Midgard. Our suggestion is go buy this game and add it to your collection. We've got a lot more reviews on our website, boardgamecloset.com, so check that out. And we've got a podcast that comes out every single Tuesday, and we talk about games on the podcast that we can't talk about here. And so check that out for other exclusive stuff, I guess. And as always,
support your local hobby shop.